Fresh family, it's me, Santa Claus, or should I say, Fresh Claus. Thank you for having me in the RT studio to host RT Essentials. Today, I'm going to go over notable and classic Christmas films as recommended by the good people of the Rotten Tomatoes team, but with a twist. You see, the films on today's show are all naughty. Rotten. Rotten, apologies. I got my list mixed up there.
Happy holidays. Oh my.
Let's commence the RT Essentials Rotten Christmas Movies episode.
I'm sorry.
What is it?
We actually have a last minute change here. It seems that they want your brother to sub in for the episode.
Where is he?
He's here.
Oh, son of a... Are you sure about this? I mean, I get the theme and all, but he is the worst. You know, no. It's not easy to get a ride here from the North Pole.
We're good.
You could have booked Mall Santa for this.
He's fine.
Donner, get the keys. Hey, bye, bro. Don't let Blitzen's antlers hit you on the way out. Woo, okay. Where do I look? Hey, right here, look, it's a camera. Now, what's up, everyone? I guess you can call me Rotten Claus for this, whatever makes you feel better. Now look, these movies, yeah, sure, once upon a time, critics thought they sucked, but I'm here to tell you that subjectivity is everything, and that these Christmas movies are great, and though they're rotten, they are Christmas movies nonetheless, and they can 100% provide the same love, care, warmth, health benefits as any of the fresh Christmas movies out there, all right? I mean, not everyone can get a Mark Twain award-winning SNL star in tights and the director of Iron Man, okay? On with the list. Home Alone 2. I know. Who knew? Rotten? I mean,
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
On your knees? I love you.
Director Chris Columbus originally wanted to make 2 sequels to Home Alone and shoot them back-to-back before star Macaulay Culkin aged out of the role. But 20th Century Fox executives said no, concerned about how much it would cost. They probably felt pretty smart after Lost in New York opened to a critical drubbing. It's got a low 33% tomato meter score, but in the end, it may very well have been the wrong call. By the time Home Alone 3 eventually did hit theaters in 1997 with a new lead character, audiences had largely lost interest and the movie flopped.
Hold it right there.
This is the concierge, sir.
I knew it was you. I could smell you getting off the elevator.
This scene in particular revisits a favorite gag from the first film, in which Kevin McAllister used a fake gangster film called Angels with Filthy Souls to trick Harry and Marv, the iconic Wet Bandits, into believing they were in the house with him. This time, he screens that movie's even more fake sequel, obviously titled Angels with Even Filthier Souls.
Don't give me that. You've been spooching with everybody. Snuffy, Al, Leo, Little Mo with the gimpy leg, Cheeks, Boney Bob, Cliff.
No. It's a lie.
These quick sequences, of course, parody a very real 1938 gangster movie called Angels with Dirty Faces, starring the great James Cagney. And the fake movies have remained part of the pop culture lexicon ever since. They can be seen in the background in the 2019 video game adaptation, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Hey, you, quick, look up the score of Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Come on, fresh.
68%.
Ooh, yes, 68%. Face it, some of you thought that was a rotten movie. Don't lie to me. You thought it was rotten.
I love you! Maybe I'm off my hinges, but I believe you. That's why I'm gonna let you go.
And yes, that is Tim Curry as the hotel concierge. He's not identified by name in the film, but in the script, he was known as Mr. Hector. Can't believe they left that on the cutting room floor. Thank goodness we finally get to tell the world. Am I right?
1, 2. Three. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
4 Christmases. Four Christmases was not a hit with viewers or critics when it first entered theaters in 2008, coming in with just 25% on the tomato meter. Even today, it's only earned a marginally better 47% from audiences. Nonetheless, the story about coming unglued during stress-filled family gatherings, a constant theme on this list, has made the caustic comedy a perennial favorite amongst Christmas movie fans.
How about now?
Worse! It's worse! Take the damn thing down. I can do better with my rabbit ears, all right?
It's honestly kind of shocking the film scored so low with such an all-star cast. All 4 actors who play Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon's characters' parents, Robert Duvall, Sissy Spacek, John Boyne, and Mary Steenburgen, are Oscar winners. And get this, 3 of the film's stars won Oscars specifically for playing country western singers. Wait, you don't think I can name them? Of course I can! Reese Witherspoon in Walk the Line, Robert Duvall in Tender Mercies, and Sissy Spacek in The Coal Miner's Daughter. Boom!
I don't even want a fancy satellite. I don't want any kind of satellite.
Not a satellite, genius! It's a satellite dish!
Though he was working with a cast of veterans, this was director Seth Gordon's scripted feature debut. He got the gig based on his competitive video game documentary, The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, which caught Vince Vaughn's attention. The house in this scene, by the way, was built specifically for the production in the Shadow Hills neighborhood outside of Los Angeles, so the roof could be reinforced to support the weight of not just these actors, but an entire camera crew. That's a lot of gear, but they probably also had too much eggnog and sugar cookies. Or if you party with me during Christmas Eve, that's what we call egg stream nog and sugar cookies. Don't worry, I'll give you the recipe. The Polar Express. That brings us to director Robert Zemeckis' animated storybook adaptation, The Polar Express, first released in 2004. Critics at the time knocked the animation, particularly on the human characters, which made them look, and I quote, uncanny, dead-eyed, and like zombies. Again, if you party with me, you'll look like that Christmas morning. Nonetheless, this adventure-filled journey to the North Pole still managed a 56% on the tomato meter and a 63% with audiences who were charmed despite the, dead eyes. The film is based on an illustrated children's book by Chris Van Allsburg, the same author whose work inspired Jumanji. It was also the very first animated film made entirely using the motion capture process in which live actors record their roles and then these performances are animated into the film.
Look! Get us the blazes out of here!
The technique never really took off in animation, though Zemeckis reused the process for his Christmas Carol adaptation with Jim Carrey. But it has remained very common in live-action films that have computer-animated characters. The technique allows star Tom Hanks to play 5 different characters in the film. The main hero as an adult, the hero's dad, the train conductor we see here, a hobo, and Santa Claus. Personally, I consider that list in order of importance.
Keep up with me! Left! Right!
When 2 of his characters interacted in the film, Hanks would record one role with a stand-in and then switch off on set. That's Daryl Sabara from the Spy Kids film, voicing the main boy character here, but he didn't do the actual motion capture. That was actually done by a 12-year-old pre-Hunger Games Josh Hutcherson. So wow, the odds really were in his favor.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I can't believe you found my ticket.
Did someone say they found the ticket? Well, in that case, tickets, please.
The Santa Claus 2.
Can I help you? Honey, I'm home!
The second film in the Santa Claus franchise massively expanded on the scale and scope of the first movie, tripling the budget and digging deeper into the series' fanciful world of mythological characters. Sadly, it was not as warmly embraced by critics or audiences, pulling in less money at the box office and earning just a 56% score from critics and an even lower 42% from audiences.
Not so far! Whoa, Jet! Back for more action, eh, Scooter? Jet! Gotcha, get you. Cut the chit-chat, Jet!
The film was the debut of director Michael Lembeck, who had worked on TV for many years leading up to this. Interestingly, this film features the Tooth Fairy in a relatively small supporting role, and Lembeck would later direct the 2010 film, wait for it, Tooth Fairy, which features the same character and a markedly similar plot. Yes, it's about The Rock having to take over the job of the Tooth Fairy, which, maybe they're not so similar.
I am supposed to wear this coat. How about a little elbow for you? There you go.
The Santa Claus series are the films that made a movie star out of Tim Allen, who up to this point was mostly known for Home Improvement and stand-up comedy. But he wasn't the studio's first choice when casting Santa Claus Part 1. They'd already talked to Tom Selleck, Tom Hanks, Chevy Chase, and Bill Murray before meeting with Allen. 1 year after that first Santa Claus film, Allen debuted as the voice of Buzz Lightyear in the first Pixar Toy Story movie, which cemented him as a film comedy superstar. In this scene, he actually references the Buzz Lightyear role when the artificial toy Santa tells Scott Calvin,
You are a sad, strange little man.
to corporate synergy and beyond. Jingle all the way.
Shut up!
No film on this list has a wider gulf between its public esteem and its tomato meter score than Jingle All the Way, a beloved nostalgic classic with an unthinkably paltry 15% on the tomato meter. Critics may have found the Arnold Schwarzenegger family comedy shrill and uneven, but audiences just want to see two things: Turbo Man and for you to put the cookie down.
The North Pole, them are fighting words, partner. Put them up.
Relax, buddy. I'm not about to hit a Santa Claus.
Come on, what are you, chicken?
This scene features Jim Belushi as one of the crooked Santas. Tell me about it.
Get him!
The two actors had previously shared the screen in a very different film, 1988's Red Heat. Belushi also came to set prepared to play Santa. He earned money during college by assuming the role of Kris Kringle at private parties and events, and had even once been the Santa for a staged Christmas concert. Yeah, if you want a guy who's gonna relentlessly prep for any role, no matter how small, you call James Belushi. That's established Hollywood wisdom. And, it's only a matter of time before someone plays me. Daniel Day-Lewis, perhaps?
I'm gonna deck your halls, bub.
Though the film was written by Randy Cornfield, it was also partly inspired by a real experience producer Chris Columbus had while trying to buy a Buzz Lightyear doll for Christmas. He said, "It's almost like searching for a Christmas Eve holy grail. I couldn't find it anywhere. That was when I came to understand the universality of this situation."
Who's gonna be next?
That highly coveted Turbo Man doll was designed by Tim Flattery, an expert who had previously created characters for the Batman and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV series. He made the toy first, and then all the marketing and costumes were designed based around that. The Holiday.
Hold, please. I can't believe that you have had sex with the woman staying in my house!
He told you that?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I thought I was talking to Graham. Could you just hold, please? I'm terribly sorry.
Audiences embraced writer-director Nancy Meyers' 2006 house-swapping romantic comedy, even if it left some critics a little cold. It's sitting on a massive 80% audience score, even if it only has a 50% on the tomato meter.
Oh, Amanda's next door neighbour. Oh, by the way, you should pop over and meet her.
Yeah, I have, actually.
Oh, bugger. Call waiting. Can you hold for a sec? Hold on, I really want to talk to you.
Sure.
Hello?
Iris, hi, it's Amanda.
The characters in the movie exchange houses using a real website called homeexchange.com that actually still exists to this day. So if you are British but nonetheless want to fall in love with Jack Black, I don't know, maybe here's your chance.
My brother wants to know how you are.
Can you tell him that I'm good and that I'm just taking Charlie for a walk in the village? What's he been up to, did he say?
I'm not sure. Do you want me to ask him?
Sure.
Okay. Hold, please.
Myers said she wrote the film with all 4 leads in mind, but Black took some convincing before he was willing to do a romantic comedy. Well, as the romantic lead. His big break in films was in a rom-com, High Fidelity, but in the wacky friend role.
I can't believe you've had sex with Amanda. The one thing she asked me was, are there any men in your town? And I assured her that there were not. And then you meet her and immediately get into her knickers.
Still me.
Bollocks!
Myers asked Jude Law to base his performance around Clark Gable and apparently gave him a bunch of Gable films to take home and study. One more fun tidbit on Jude Law. In the film, his sister's name is Iris, which is actually the name of his daughter in real life. Aww, is that cute? Or is it just a coincidence? I'm gonna go with cute.
What are you up to this Christmas Eve?
Not much. But in a little bit I was going to go down to the video shop and get the next movie on Arthur's list.
Do you want some company?
Love some.
Reindeer Games.
No, mother no guns in the gun room! Please, no! Put him over there! Shut up! No!
The 2000 action crime film Reindeer Games was the final movie directed by filmmaking icon John Frankenheimer, the visionary behind classics like Seconds, 7 Days in May, The Manchurian Candidate, and Ronin. Nonetheless, it had a fairly troubled journey to the big screen, which helps to explain the paltry 25% tomato meter score and the only slightly improved 27% rating from audiences.
Get away from that alarm! Put him down! Guns down! No! 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 Drop him! Get out!
The film was supposed to open around Christmas 1999, but got pushed back to February of 2000 after a string of disappointing test screenings led to reshoots. Studio executives also made Frankenheimer cut 20 minutes from the film that he felt made it less sexy and ultimately satisfying. A director's cut was released years later on DVD.
Just do what my friends say. They're a little bit, disturbed.
Co-star Charlize Theron, I like her, has also been tough on the movie, calling it her least favorite film from her entire filmography. She said she ultimately did the movie just as an excuse to work with John Frankenheimer. Ben Affleck still took his role seriously. He actually trained with a real reformed criminal to learn how to hotwire vehicles for his role as a professional car thief. The film's title is, of course, a reference to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the most overplayed Christmas tune ever. And it's also a nod to Affleck's character because his name is Rudy, and his cellmate who came up with the entire casino robbery plan is Nick. Get it? Like Saint Nick coming up with the toy delivery plan, and then Rudolph helps him carry it out. Right?
Get the money! Forget about him and get the money!
Forget about him. There's no future for people like you and me, Nick.
In Europe, the film was actually released as Deception because the song and animated special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer are a lot less popular there, thank goodness, and there was concern that no one was going to get the reference. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Doubt? Another unmistakable sign of the heavy days. Now you're due.
I don't want to blow your mind, but did you know that the Grinch wasn't originally green when he was first conceived by Dr. Seuss? The character first appeared in a 32-line illustrated poem called The Hubbub and the Grinch, which was published in the May 1955 edition of Red Book magazine with just black and white illustrations. Even the Dr. Seuss book How the Grinch Stole Christmas mostly features black and white drawings with occasional dashes of red and pink. No, the Grinch wasn't green until Chuck Jones designed him that way for the iconic 1966 animated TV special. The iconic animator behind your favorite Coyote and Roadrunner shorts said he based the color on a very unappealing rental car he was once given.
How dare you enter the Grinch's lair! The impudence! The audacity!
It took Jim Carrey about 3 hours each day to put on all the heavy makeup and prosthetics required to be the Grinch, including the extremely uncomfortable, frisbee-like contact lenses that made the ghoulish character's eyes pop.
Booga booga!
The very first time they put the full outfit on Carrey, it took an excruciating 8.5 hours to complete the process. This took 4 minutes.
I'm not scared.
Denial is to be expected in the face of
pure evil.
I don't think so.
Carrey later compared it to being buried alive, and he trained using the same endurance techniques CIA operatives used to prepare for potentially being tortured. At several points, he said he nearly walked off the project due to the extreme discomfort of wearing the costume. But hey, it was all worth it, I guess. I mean, it only has a 49% on the tomato meter, but a lot of you kids who grew up with it seem to love it, so what the hell do they know?
Run for your life before I kill again!
I'm a psycho.
That's Taylor Momsen, by the way, as young Cindy Lou Who in her first major screen role. She went on to co-star in Gossip Girl and now records music with the rock band The Pretty Reckless. Like everyone who played Who's in this movie, she had to go to extensive Who school to learn how the characters would act and move around. But how did the teachers know? That's my question. Who teaches the teachers in that scenario?
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
What do you want?
Mr. Grinch, I came to invite you to be holiday cheermeister.
Holiday who be whatty?
A Bad Mom's Christmas.
Do your moms have your hairstyle?
You know, every time I think I'm the f***ed up one in this group, Kiki, you open your mouth, and then I'm like, no, I'm doing great.
The sequel to Bad Moms came out in 2017, just 1 year after the first movie. Hey, when you got a property as hot as Bad Moms, you do not mess around. Still, maybe a bit of added pre-production time would have helped to improve the film's 32% tomato meter and 44% audience score, or not.
Well, then you need to fight her.
Like, physically?
That is correct, Amy. I can teach you some basic karate moves, but we all know that she's gonna keep treating you like this until you beat the out of her.
I don't want you to meet my mom.
Critics aren't even the only ones who had a rough time with A Bad Mom's Christmas. It was widely held up as one of the more disappointing studio releases of 2017. In fact, 3 New Zealand comedians did an entire podcast goofing on it. The Kiwis watched this film once a week for an entire year. That is commitment to a bit.
Moms are so weird.
How's Christmas with your mom?
Oh, you know, it's okay. It's okay, I guess, yeah. I mean, my mom got her hair cut and colored exactly like mine, but I think that's pretty normal, right? Do your moms have your hairstyle?
The sequel introduces Christine Baranski, Susan Sarandon, and Cheryl Hines as the mothers of the main three cast members, Mila Kunis, Kathryn Hahn, and Kristen Bell, respectively. Interestingly, though Hines is playing Bell's mom here, the actresses are only 15 years apart in real life. The duo had previously collaborated on 2009's Serious Moonlight, in which Bell starred and Hines directed. Kathryn Hahn convinced Sarandon to appear as her mother by writing her a heartfelt note, which Sarandon later described as a real kiss-my-ass kind of letter. So if you ever have a favor to ask of Susan Sarandon, now you know the approach to take. You ever want me to do a favor? Skip the writing, give me a cookie.
Guys, are we not taking Christmas back this year?
Yeah.
I'm asking you that seriously because I got so wasted at the mall I can't remember if I actually said that or if that's just something that I'm dreaming about right now.
The Ice Harvest.
Shut the up in there! You just keep your mouth shut, okay? Piece of God!
The 2005 crime comedy The Ice Harvest wasn't a huge hit with audiences or critics despite a hefty pedigree. It was the second to last film directed by the great Harold Ramis, and it was co-written by Robert Benton, the author of classics like the original 1970s Superman and Kramer vs. Kramer.
You didn't asphyxiate yet, did you?
Come a little closer so I can talk to you.
What's that, Roy? Jesus Christ! Damn, I took his gun.
That's the voice of character actor Mike Starr as Roy, the guy who's locked in the trunk, by the way. He would later appear alongside Billy Bob Thornton again in another crime comedy set during the holidays, 2016's Bad Santa 2. But you probably know him as the guy from Dumb and Dumber who Lloyd and Harry torment with the most annoying sound in the world. Remember that guy? I'm gonna do the sound.
Don't do it.
Santa would've.
There's no way that this thing is gonna fit in a piece of Mercedes if it don't go to Lincoln.
Nah, they're surprisingly spacious, Vic.
This was actually one of the rare films directed by Ramis that he didn't have a hand in writing himself, probably because he had the Kramer vs. Kramer guy to do it for him. He did sneak one personal detail in there. The film's strip club location is known as the Sweet Cage, which was a family restaurant that Ramis and his parents used to frequent when he was a kid.
Okay? Piece of God!
You keep that up, you're gonna spring the lock.
Ramis had offered the role eventually taken by John Cusack to his old friend Bill Murray, but the SNL vet never returned his calls. The two had a falling out while making Groundhog Day and didn't ultimately reconcile until close to the end of Ramis' life in 2014.
Hey, Roy.
Roy, I can't wait for you to feel the icy water seeping into this trunk, shriveling your before you drown!
Almost Christmas.
It was gonna be disgusting. I did you a favor.
Well, then do me a damn favor. Don't burn down the damn house. I got
This audience favorite from 2016 comes from writer-director David E. Talbert, who went on to write and direct the Netflix Christmas musical Jingle Jangle. He didn't, however, originally conceive of this one as a Christmas movie. The film was originally set during Thanksgiving and was even titled A Myers Thanksgiving after the main family. When the studio decided to shift the setting, the title was changed to A Myers Christmas and then ultimately Almost Christmas. I guess they figured we didn't know who the Myers were just yet.
I knew it was gonna be tough. But I said, surely the children she loved so much and then them gave her life for would find a way to make it work. Obviously, I was wrong.
Many of the cast members in this scene had already worked together on other projects. J.B. Smoove and Romani Malco co-starred in the BET series The Real Husbands of Hollywood, and Malco and Gabrielle Union both appear in the Think Like a Man movies. 2016 was also a big year for co-star Jesse Usher. He not only popped up in a crucial role here, but starred as Will Smith's son in Independence Day Resurgence. This was already the third time Usher had played a football player in a movie after When the Game Stands Tall and Level Up. He later went on to star in Amazon's The Boys as A-Train, who could probably make the NFL with his lightning speed, but he's opted to go the superhero route instead. I don't think it pays as well.
I'm not the one who tried to deep fry the whole kitchen, am I?
No, and I don't think I was making the blackaroni and cheese over there, so I think we should just go. Maybe you want some pizza and wings or something?
Well, you know I gotta watch my carbs, right?
Oh, that's fine. They got that, like, high school cheerleader menu that you can order from.
Man, shut up, dude.
It's all good.
Right?
Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh. Party punch. Yeah, that ought to hold.
Critics were never fans of the Ernest films. The second entry in the movie franchise, after 1987's Ernest Goes to Camp, only scored 36% on the tomato meter. But for kids who came of age during the Ernest era, the Jim Varney character has remained a beloved backwoods icon.
Of course, we're a little early, so we could help him decorate and maybe, put out the food. Little finger sandwiches and cheese balls and bean dip.
Ernest had originally been created by the Nashville ad agency Cardin and Cherry for a series of local TV spots, but he kept growing in prominence and popularity until they decided to put him in movies and TV shows as well, just like the Geico Caveman.
Ho, 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 Vern. Mary.
I thought you said this Vern was a friend of yours.
Oh, Vern's just like that. He'll do anything for a laugh. Come on. It's Santa's little party helper. Hi. This is Harmony. She's been having kind of a tough time, so I'm helping her out. Kind of a father image kind of thing.
While they were making Ernest Saves Christmas, Varney and director John Cherry were also simultaneously producing Ernest's short-lived Saturday morning sketch TV series, Hey Vern, It's Ernest. Though this was the second film in the Ernest series, it was actually the third movie to feature the character, who made his screen debut in the bizarre 1985 comedy Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. It's also the highest grossing Ernest movie, pulling in $28 million domestically on a $6 million budget. Still, it only managed to hit number 2 at the box office on its opening weekend. Ernest Saves Christmas got beat out by a little slasher movie starring a killer doll named Chucky called Child's Play. Maybe you've heard of it.
He got fired. Some crazy old guy stiffed him for a $30 cab ride. And instead of calling the cops, Bobo here knocked down the meter.
Notably, this scene is the only reference to the Vern character, a mainstay of the Ernest ads and Saturday morning series, even though he never actually appears on screen in any of the movies. This was also the first movie to be shot almost entirely in Orlando, Florida, on the still under construction Disney MGM Studios backlot. In fact, the park's backlot tour ride included a stop right here at Vern's house until 2002. That must have been an exciting treat. Know what I mean, Vern? I've always wanted to do that.
Sleigh bells tinkling in the snow. Boy, Vern, that puppy's really stuck, know what I mean? Vern, it looks like a transmutation of your 110 and your 220, know what I mean?
The Family Stone.
Meredith.
The 2005 comedy The Family Stone fared a bit better than most of our rotten selections, hitting 53% with critics and 63% with audiences. This has got to have something to do with the enormous cast playing the Stone family and their friends and significant others, many of whom are showcased in this very sequence. The 9 castmates playing Stones spent weeks together in rehearsal so that they could bond convincingly. They also all studied sign language together, as in the film they have a deaf family member named Thaddeus.
Sorry, I don't know if we've met. I'm Brad.
Julie.
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
What's so great about you guys? Nothing. It's just that we're all we've got. We're not so great.
Everett and Ben, the 2 fighting brothers we see here played by Dermot Mulroney and Luke Wilson, were originally going to be Billy Crudup and Johnny Knoxville before they both dropped out of the film. Aaron Eckhart had also been considered for Mulroney's part, but he was never in Young Guns like Dermot was. In this memorable sequence, Sarah Jessica Parker, as Meredith, spills a kind of breakfast casserole all over herself that's known as strata. The shot of the strata actually spilling all over Meredith had to be redone numerous times from different angles, and because the stains had to match up exactly in every shot, Sarah Jessica Parker wore this soiled top for hours and hours on end. Add this to the fact that Diane Keaton, to get into character, was apparently really mean to Sarah Jessica Parker on set, and you have the makings of a somewhat unpleasant experience. However, Parker later said she enjoyed making the film and the chance to work with Keaton, even if they didn't always get along. Last Christmas.
Santa, I think I can take over from there. Because there's also someone here, a gentleman here who requires your specific assistance.
Yes, you can have a look. Think about it.
I'm going to show you to the even bigger nutcrackers round the corner.
Which brings us all the way to 2019 and director Paul Feig's musical holiday rom-com, Last Christmas. This was actually Feig's second Christmas comedy, following 2006's Unaccompanied Minors. After that film didn't receive much attention or fanfare, Feig was hesitant to return to the genre, but was convinced after reading the script.
This is a big nutcracker.
Am I not fit inside there?
It depends on how big are your nuts. It is too big. We can't take that.
That script, by the way, was co-written by Emma Thompson, who shares the story credit with her husband, Greg Wise. It's the first time the duo has been credited on a film together. Though she's best known as an actress, Thompson is actually an accomplished screenwriter. She wrote that 1995 adaptation of Sense and Sensibility, in which she also co-starred, and also scripted the Nanny McPhee films and the 2016 Bridget Jones sequel, Bridget Jones's Baby. Oh, she had a baby. Good. The film was inspired by the George Michael song Last Christmas, which the artist claimed to have written in about 1 hour while visiting his parents. 1 hour? What a show-off. He probably spent 8 weeks on Wake Me Up Before You Go-Go.
Of all the things in my life, this is my best thing.
What is?
Christmas.
Last Christmas was shot almost entirely on location in London, avoiding crowds by filming very late at night, sometimes around 2 a.m. Thompson herself starred in another Christmas comedy that was also memorably shot in London, 2003's Love Actually. To me, it is perfect. Actually, I don't really like Love Actually.
This is why I love to come in here.
I also love it. That is why I have this shop.
So, what do you think? Are these films genuinely rotten, or are these critics and fans just a bunch of Grinches whose hearts could stand to grow a few sizes? Whether your holiday favorites feature the Griswolds or the Skellingtons, keep it here for lots more updates on all kinds of movies, fresh and rotten, from your friends at Rotten Tomatoes. I'm Rotten Claus, and I'll see you next time. Take that, big bro. New star in the studio. Now, do I see you about payment? Do I invoice? Do I?
You can email us.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was fun.
It was?
Yeah. You want to get a bite to eat after this? I'm pretty free.
No.
I'm double parked.